There's just so much more to hear.
Download our podcasts at DubaiI1038.com.
GCC and MENA markets generally witnessed a slowdown across most industry sectors in 2016 and 2017. The leisure and entertainment industry, though, has performed positively in general. And with the opportunities opening daily in Saudi Arabia, which we talk about, of course, every day on the Business Breakfast, very pleased to have in the studio with us Prakash Vivekanand, who is Managing Director, Amusement Services International, ASI. And good morning and welcome to the studio. Thanks.
Good morning, Malcolm. Thank you so much for having us over. Good morning, listeners.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having you here. Now, your company provides turnkey entertainment solutions that could actually be pretty ideal for a market like Saudi Arabia that really wants to go from 0 to 100 in 4 seconds. What's your main focus in the entertainment arena?
We design entertainment facilities, so we concentrate on large format indoor entertainment given the weather conditions in this region. So we've been doing this for the last 24 years, so we've got very strong understanding of this region, and more so in Saudi Arabia because we've actually been involved in that market for the last 24 years.
You've been in Saudi for the last 24 months. And then I wonder what you've been doing there, considering there's been very little entertainment in Saudi Arabia. What have you put in Saudi already?
Entertainment has got a very wide definition. So our form of entertainment was actually a very accepted form of entertainment. In fact, we probably have to be a little worried with all these cinemas and everything coming in.
What is your form of entertainment?
Family entertainment centers. So this would involve large format indoor amusement parks, so which will involve amusement rides, the arcade games, redemption games, the carnival games, and midway and skill games. So
how many of these have you got in Saudi Arabia?
We probably have in excess of 500 such units operational in Saudi Arabia. So it's a very refined industry in Saudi Arabia.
So we're fairly excited about what's happening in Saudi Arabia, opening up leisure. You're saying basically, we've been doing this for many years, and we've got all these centres around Saudi Arabia. So the new entertainment, the cinemas, etc., could be a threat to you.
It is, because of the fact that every consumer has a certain spend that they would put into these sort of activities, and now we're probably going to share that entertainment dollar or entertainment rial with the cinemas and everything else that's coming on board. So I think Saudi Arabia, if you take most shopping malls, the most accepted form of family entertainment was entertainment facilities or family entertainment centers, as we say. Now we're probably going to share that space with cinemas. So where previously we would have, say, 100,000 square feet of family entertainment space, we probably have 50,000 square feet of family entertainment space and 50,000 square feet of cinemas.
So they're cutting you back to make the space for the cinemas. Is that the discussion you're having with lots of Saudi landlords? We want to have a cinema, you're the one to get the cut.
In a way, but what we are actually advising a lot of our customers is that now that you're losing 50% of your space to cinemas, you need to now make it more exciting for your people, have the right kind of entertainment and product mix, and start looking at businesses on a revenue per square feet basis rather than just across a massive space. So.
And I don't think Saudis will really mind me saying this. There isn't very much to do in Saudi Arabia, really. When you're inside, when you're outside, there's plenty to do in terms of things to go and see and touristic stuff to go and do. But there isn't very much when you're inside. Do you not think that the number of people that will visit cinemas could be a plus for you? You may have less space, but the amount of people visiting the malls could dramatically increase, and that could benefit your 50,000 square meters rather than the 100,000 you had before.
Right. We will see this particular change coming in. It's what we're more worried about is the per capita spend on how it's going to influence, because cinema will be a new phenomena. So obviously seeing cinema in your own country for the first time, I think the first one opens on the 18th, as Michelle mentioned previously on the show. So we are going to see a short-term shift in terms of how consumer habits are going to change. But on the other hand, all these cinemas also bring us a lot of opportunity, because a lot of the Saudi players that we've been speaking to, they're all saying about adding some kind of an entertainment concept attached to their cinemas. So the idea is to capitalize on that waiting time between, going into a theater and doing something just outside before your movie starts. So we are likely to be seeing a lot more growth from that perspective. Short term, it's going to be a shift in consumer pattern. Long term, I think we're going to see everything come back.
In some ways, it's forcing you to reinvent yourself. What do you think the average cinema ticket will cost?
I think it's going to follow similar models that of Dubai.
Which is how much?
Which is between 30 riyals to 50 riyals to 75 riyals, depending on
30 to 75 dirhams.
Yes, that's right.
What is the average spend for people that come into your entertainment centres?
On an average, it's about 119 dirhams per capita, but this again varies based on the size. So most of the entertainment locations or family entertainment centers in Saudi Arabia vary between 50,000 square feet and 100,000 square feet. So on average, what we've seen as per capita spend is about 119 dirhams.
So, in other words, people could come in and sort of for 150 dirhams see a film and have some time in your parks. Do you do the sort of concierge thing? Leave your kids here if it's a sort of more of an adult film. You don't take them in. You can actually take the kids in. They will bring the kids to you and actually drop them off, and you will sort of effectively nanny them for the couple of hours that a film lasts.
That is a plan. I mean, we've done a few like those in Saudi Arabia, actually, but not from a cinema perspective, but to enable people to shop, so they'd actually drop their kids into, let's say, a play area or a soft play facility, and then they would go finish their shopping, grocery shopping or any other shopping, and then come back. So there's no reason why this cannot be extended across to cinemas. There are cinemas who've done this before, and I'm sure we will see this change in Saudi.
Do you design Saudi-based entertainment arcades and Saudi-based machines? You actually design the machines yourself in some cases, don't you?
We design both the facilities, and we also work with many leading brands in terms of giving them the input on design. Say if you take this region, the content of the games are very, very important. So they have to be acceptable to the cultural nuances and the moral requirements of this region. So many times...
What are the absolute no-nos then in terms of machines? I mean, are you allowed, for instance, shooting arcades? Is that okay?
Shooting is okay, but no excessive gory violence in terms of bloodshed, no portrayal of the region in a bad way, for example.
No sort of women in short skirts, for instance, on the machines.
No women in short skirts, yes. Any sort of skin shows normally avoided, and we would actually redecorate all these characters and everything else so that they become more acceptable to this region.
How do they do it? So, I mean, we were talking with Michel Al-Hukair, who's putting the cinemas in. He thinks that the cinema will be mixed but somewhat segregated in terms of rows. What are the restrictions on you in your entertainment centres?
Absolutely none. Other than the fact that, the mall in itself, most of the large entertainment facilities are located within malls. And sometimes malls on certain days could prevent, or used to prevent, single men from coming into these shopping malls. And that would then automatically profile people getting into entertainment facilities. But we've not had any specific restriction to say that we need to have a family-only area, or because the concept itself catered to families. But most of the players or most of the consumers that we would see were women and kids, but we would also see a lot of...
But are single men allowed in? I mean, sometimes on Fridays you'll see sort of busloads of blue-collar workers for their day out coming to the malls and things. Are they allowed to mix as well?
There was some level of profiling that used to exist. There were certain malls that would allow them and certain malls that wouldn't. And I can see a lot of that slowly but surely changing in terms of what it is.
So cinemas, I guess, are the tip of a wider social and entertainment revolution in KSA. I mean, we can all see it coming. I mean, how do you see the wider offering laying out over the next few years? I mean, cinemas plus what? Your entertainment centres, restaurants, bowling alleys, AI games halls, maybe even social clubs?
We have a trade show that's happening in Dubai starting today for over the next 3 days, called Dubai Entertainment, Amusement and Leisure Show, Deal Show as they call it. We are expecting quite a lot of players from Saudi to actually come and visit the show. And the Public Investment Fund, as Mr. Michal earlier mentioned, also on the show, and the General Entertainment Authority, have set aside about $64 billion for leisure and entertainment related activities. There are some massive developments down there. We've got the Al-Qidiyah project, which is almost 330 square kilometers or something of actual planned district in terms of what's going to happen. And we've got the first Six Flags park that's due to go into this the Al-Qidiyah project. There are many more announcements that are expected in the coming 2 to 3 days.
Where's the Six Flags going to be?
That's going to be in Al-Qidiyah project,
which is how far from Riyadh?
Just outside Riyadh.
Just outside Riyadh.
Yes, yeah.
How much do you think all this, and we've asked the same question to Michel Al-Hukair, how much do you think all of the sort of entertainment at home in Saudi Arabia is going to affect numbers of Saudis coming into the Emirates?
Just like how Michel answered this particular question, I would like to say that Dubai will still hold its charm, but that's also going to boost a lot of intra-tourism within Saudi Arabia. What we've seen as numbers is that probably not enough being done from an intra-Saudi tourism. So that is going to improve drastically as these sort of entertainment offerings and everything else come in. I mean, Riyadh is not the only development. There's a lot of development planned for Jeddah, the development plan for Dammam, and we can also see the Saudi suburb itself growing. So from the main cities, we're beginning to see things moving outside Riyadh, outside Dammam and everything else, outside Jeddah. And then they've also got this huge religious tourism that comes into Jeddah. So now,
which is the main tourism.
If they can capitalize on that in terms of, because they've got a lot of plans for cultural offerings, heritage-based offerings, Islam-based offerings. When all of this come in terms of leisure format, so that's all going to boost trade into Saudi Arabia.
And you've got Cirque du Soleil coming as well.
Yeah.
Listen, thanks very much indeed for joining us. Prakash Vivekanand, Managing Director, Amusement Services International, ASI. Thanks very much indeed for talking to us about your offering in Saudi Arabia and about how things have changed.
Thank you.
Good luck with that challenge.
Thank you.
There's just so much more to hear.
Download our podcasts at DubaiEye1038.com.